Hey everybody, this video is called What is the Job of the High Priest? And tonight we're going to step out of our verse-by-verse pass-through of the book of Leviticus, and we're going to look at a topical video on the role and responsibility of the high priest. So we're not stepping too far off of what the focus is because when we studied through Exodus and in the Leviticus here, we looked at the high priest. So we're going to look at the high priest specifically for this video. And the high priest was a supreme religious leader of the Israelites, and the people went to the high priest in order to know what the will of God would be. And in Numbers 27 verse 21 it says, "He shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall inquire before the Lord for him by the judgment of Urim. At his word they shall go out, and at his word they shall come in, he and all the children of Israel with him, and all the congregation." So Joshua was commissioned by Eleazar the high priest to assume some of Moses' responsibility. And then in the Gospel according to John chapter 11 verse 49 through 52, it says, "And one of them, Caiaphas, being the high priest that year, said to them, 'You know nothing at all, nor do you consider that is the expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and not that the whole nation should perish.' Now this he did not say on his own authority, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus would die for the nation, and not for that nation only, but also that he would gather together in one the children of God who were scattered abroad." So the high priest Caiaphas had the gift of prophecy as well. So he was in communication directly with God. And in our last study last week in Leviticus chapter 4, the high priest had to offer a sin offering not only for the sins of the whole congregation, but also they had to offer a sin offering for themselves. And the high priest conducted the service of the Day of Atonement, where they entered the most holy place behind the veil, as we studied in the book of Exodus, standing before God, making a sacrifice for themselves and for the people. And who is the final high priest today? You know, there's many Roman Catholic and Catholic churches and Orthodox and all that with priests and everything, but we only have one priest that represents us today, and his name is Jesus. He is the forever high priest. And I want to go over to Hebrews chapter 7 verse 23. So Hebrews 7:23 through 28, it says, "Also there were many priests, because they were prevented by death from continuing, but he, because he continues forever, has an unchangeable priesthood. Therefore he is able to save to the uttermost those who come to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them. For such a high priest was fitting for us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and has become higher than the heavens, who does not need daily, as those high priests, to offer up sacrifices, first for his own sins and then for the people's. For this he did once for all when he offered himself up. For the law appoints as high priests men who have weakness, but the word of the oath which came after the law appoints the Son, which had been perfected forever." So we can have confidence that we have the eternal high priest, and Jesus, his priesthood will never change, unlike then back in the law of Moses, where it changed out from man to man because man, died and so forth. And because his priesthood is unchanging and permanent, we can have faith and believe that our salvation through Christ is likewise, that our salvation is not going to change. It is permanent. And Jesus gives us the complete security in salvation. Outside of Jesus as our high priest, we wouldn't be able to have eternal security in knowing about if we're saved or not. And Jesus intercedes for us on our behalf. And he is the best qualified as high priest than any other priest, as mentioned, high priest in the order of the law of Moses. And I want to go over to Hebrews chapter 9, verse 26. It says, "He then would had to offer often since the foundation of the world, but now once at the end of the ages, he has appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself." And in Hebrews 10:10, it tells us, "By that will he have been sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all." In Hebrews chapter 9, verse 12, right back in chapter 9 here, it says, "Not with the blood of goats and calves, but with his own blood he entered the most holy place once for all, having obtained eternal redemption." So because Jesus is our high priest, the unchanging and perfect, he gave the perfect sacrifice once and for all. We don't need to bring animal after animal for sacrifices because Jesus has already paid the price. Jesus has finished it. Jesus has paid it all. So I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. We'll catch up again this upcoming week as we continue in our pass through in the book of Leviticus. So God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.